Kids for Kids helps children the world has forgotten. Children in Darfur, Sudan, who live lives of inexcusable and unimaginable hardship. Darfur is at the forefront of global warming, with temperatures soaring to over 50 degrees in the summer months. All surface water evaporates by February each year, leaving the land parched and scorched. Land that was green with trees and water early last century is now a desert for most of the year. What can be done? For the past 20 years, Kids for Kids has been transforming long-term the lives of children and their families living in remote villages out of sight of the world, and to date we have adopted 105 villages in Darfur. Our aim is to improve the lives of children through a unique package of sustainable projects identified and run by the communities themselves. Kids for Kids was founded when Patricia Parker came across a 9-year-old child struggling across the deserts of Darfur with a jerry can of water. His life was collecting water from a hand pump 7 hours away, yet the largest aquifer in Africa lies under Darfur. Our top priority is therefore to drill wells in each village to provide children, their families and their animals with access to clean, safe water. We then introduce our goat loan. 5 nanny goats are lent to the poorest families to provide nourishing goat's milk to strengthen children who recently faced starvation in the wake of severe drought and crop failure. After 2 years, as the little flock grows, 5 nanny goats are then passed on to another family to benefit, and so the sustainable, life-giving cycle continues. We go on to provide donkeys to help carry heavy loads. We build health centres and train midwives and first aiders to provide healthcare and save lives. We build kindergartens to give children an education and a future out of poverty. And we also provide urgently needed items such as mosquito nets, blankets, farm tools and much more. All things that families tell us will help lift them out of abject poverty. But most important, long-term, is to improve the environment and hold back the Sahara, which is creeping south inexorably. Kids for Kids has been planting drought-resistant trees for vital shade for children and animals and community forests in villages since 2007, when we were the first organisation to experiment with reintroducing the baobab tree. One of the first we planted is now called the Love Tree of Darfur, as people carve their initials and hearts into it. We renovated the tree nursery in Al Fasher and planted a demonstration garden to educate the villagers on the benefits of trees. Our demonstration garden in Al Fasher, the regional capital, is the only green space with shade where people can go at the weekends. They picnic in the shade of our trees and children play there. We therefore provided benches too. Initially, village leaders had said they did not want trees as they attracted birds, which ate their seeds. We therefore planted trees by schools for the children to water and for them to educate their parents. Since then, we've been planting 14 different varieties of drought-resistant trees. All have byproducts, such as gum arabic, acacia Senegal, pesticides, the neem tree, and citrus fruits that will add to people's livelihoods. Citrus trees are thirstier, and these are planted by people's straw huts. Not only do they provide fruit, nabuk fruits in June when nothing else is growing, but desperately needed shade for children and animals. It is hard labour to water the trees, with water often miles away across the desert, but after the first 2 years, the taproots will have reached the water table and they will survive. We also fund the fencing of the community forests, the green belts, and a forest guard for the first 2 years. He will work with a forest committee which we train in the care of the trees, watering the seedlings and harvesting the byproducts. It is important that the village takes ownership of each community forest. If the water is at a distance, we will also fund a water cart drawn by a strong crossbred donkey and a water tank. A further wonderful outcome is that vegetables are now planted in the shade of our trees. Often it is the first time vegetables have been able to be grown in a village. We are now very excited to be planning a moringa plantation because there is research showing that moringa seeds purify water, clean water at last in Darfur. To date, we have planted over 53,000 trees and made great progress, but there is still lots to be done. Many will have died, as of course can happen anywhere, but the many thousands that have succeeded transform the desert. We have even planted shade trees at the vast IDP camps. To see a green canopy over the crowded huts is transformative. Where our community forests are doing well, animals and birds are returning, which have not been seen for years. Life returning to the deserts of Darfur. Can you help us with our tree planting projects? Just £10 allows us to plant 5 seedlings in a community forest. Small community forests normally hold 1,000 trees, and £45 is enough to plant 20 fruit trees in a village, so just imagine the difference you're making. Together, we can help slow down the spread of the desert, ensure the future of Darfur is green, and change children's lives for good.